Sermon preparation is a lot like writing a term paper every week and then being prepared to present that on Sunday mornings. I mean, if you've never written a sermon, that's the best analogy I can give you. It's like writing a term paper for high school English or a college class. You have to do your homework, you have to do your research, you have to do your outline, you have to write your rough draft and then rewrite, maybe have somebody proofread it, rewrite it again, and finally have your finished, polished project there. And think about this. If you have Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night, whether it's worship or Bible study, that's still papers you're writing and presenting every week. Now, don't be overwhelmed by that. I'm just being honest with you. When I was in college, they never conveyed that to us. We just knew that, hey, for us who are going to be senior pastors, we'd have to write a sermon each week. Didn't really understand the amount of time and effort and energy that went into that. They told us, for a sermon prep, there's an intro, 3 points, and then a closing. And that's a good rule of thumb. I mean, that's kind of your basic sermon outline. But I want to encourage you, break that mold, chuck that out the window. You find you and you do you as far as sermon prep, sermon writing, and sermon presentation. I've written sermons where half the text is the introduction. I've preached sermons where there's 1 or 2 points. I've also preached sermons where there's 6 or 8 points. You figure out what God has laid on your heart for that sermon, and you allow the Holy Spirit to steady and direct your pen, and you be faithful to your calling to preach the gospel. I want to encourage you to rough draft, rewrite, get to your finished project. When I was in college for my master's, we would have to put blogs. It was an online program. We'd have to post these blogs, and we were limited to 5 sentences. That's not a lot. And even though it was only 5 sentences and they were simple blogs, I made it a practice to write, rewrite, and rewrite before I ever submitted whatever my blog was. Because I wanted to make sure what I was writing was polished, it made sense, it was well written, it was easily readable. And that paid off. And my professors and my fellow classmates appreciated the quality of writing that I was submitting. When I write a sermon, I spend all week thinking about it, jotting down notes, studying it, praying over it. And even Friday, when I leave the office, I'm not done. I haven't printed out the copy I'm going to preach from. I take the weekend, Saturday, and think about it, meditate, and pray over it. And Sunday morning, I get here early, and I go over my sermon one more time. And maybe I'll make some tweaks or some changes before I ever print it off, before I ever preach it. I just want your eyes to be wide open when it comes to sermon prep, and understand it's like writing term papers every week. And that's not a bad thing. I just want you to know what sermon prep is about. Hey, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. I got to get back to writing this.